Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There comes a moment in every man's life when he meets a woman who makes him stop in his tracks. He's had conversation before. He's gone on dates before. He said all the right words before. But this time, it don't hit the same. Because this time, she's different. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There's a certain kind of power that a woman carries when she truly knows who she is. You can see it before she even says a word. It's not in the clothes she wears. It's not in the makeup. It's not in the heels. It's in her spirit. It's in the way she walks into a room like she belongs there. Not because somebody invited her, but because she decided she does. That's confidence. That's the foundation. That's the kind of energy that can't be faked, can't be bought, and can't be borrowed. It's either in you or it's not. And when it's in you, trust me, everybody in the room knows it. Confidence is not arrogance. It's not loud. It doesn't have to announce itself. It's quiet, steady, and real. It's the woman who doesn't need the whole world to clap for her to know she's winning. She claps for herself. She wakes up every day, looks in that mirror, and says, I'm enough. No, I will be enough when I lose 10 pounds. Not, I'll be enough when I get that job. Not, I'd be enough when he finally realizes my worth. No. She says, I am enough right now as I am. That's the kind of mindset that changes how she moves through life. Now, men feel that. Oh, trust me, we feel it. We might not admit it right away. But when a man meets a confident woman, it shakes him a little bit. Because we're used to attention. We're used to women trying to please us, trying to impress us, trying to get our time. But when she don't chase, when she don't flinch, when she doesn't fold under the pressure, that's when we realize, hold on now, she's different. Because confidence tells him, I don't need you to validate me. And for a man who's not ready for that kind of woman, that's intimidating. But for the right man, it's inspiring. You see, a confident woman doesn't operate from fear. She operates from faith. She knows that her value doesn't drop because someone else couldn't see it. Her worth is not a sale item. It's full price, and it never goes on clearance. She doesn't negotiate herself, esteemed to fit into somebody else's comfort zone. She knows that if she has to shrink to keep a man, he's too small for her to begin with. That's real talk. Because confidence means you know your standards, and you're not afraid to stand by them, even if it means standing alone. And let me tell you this, confidence isn't about always feeling strong. It's about showing up even when you're scared. It's about getting up when life knocks you down and saying, all right, I see you. But you're not going to keep me down. It's about knowing that you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to rest, but you're not allowed to quit. Confidence says, I've been through worse, and I'm still standing. That's not just confidence. That's survival with style. Now, society tries to play games with women. It tells you that confidence comes from what you wear, how you look, how many likes you get, or how many people say you're beautiful. But let me tell you something. Beauty fades, trends change, attention moves. Real confidence comes from the inside. It's built from every time you survive something you thought would break you. Every time you got your heart broken, but you kept your heart open. Every time you were overlooked, but you didn't let that make you bitter. That's where confidence is born, in the fire of experience. It's not something you're given, it's something you earn. And once a woman builds that kind of confidence, she becomes unstoppable. Because when you know your worth, you stop settling for less. You stop chasing after people who don't see you. You stop explaining why you deserve respect. You stop apologizing for having boundaries. You stop lowering your standards just because someone else can't meet them. You walk different. You talk different. You expect different. You become magnetic. Not because you're trying to attract attention, but because your peace and power are too bright to ignore. Now, let's talk about something that a lot of folks don't like to admit. Confidence changes the kind of love you attract. When you don't know your worth, you attract people who don't either. When you're insecure, you attract takers. But when you're confident, when you walk like you've got purpose and peace, you start attracting people who respect that energy. Because a confident woman doesn't need a man to complete her. She wants one who can complement her. There's a big difference. She's not looking for somebody to fix her. She's looking for someone who can build with her. And a man who understands that will cherish her, not challenge her worth. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a woman who's been through disappointment. Maybe she loved deeply, gave her all, and still got hurt. Maybe people doubted her, left her out, or underestimated her. And instead of turning cold, she decided to heal. She decided to learn who she is without the noise. She stopped begging for closure, stopped replaying the pain, and started working on herself. That's where her confidence came from rebuilding piece by piece. So when she walks into her next chapter, she's not looking for validation. She's already validated by her growth. She knows what peace feels like, and she's not giving that up for anyone. Confidence doesn't mean she doesn't care. She's careful about what she cares about. She's selective with her energy. She's not trying to fix every situation or convince every person to understand her. She's learned that not everyone deserves access. Some people belong in her past, not her plans. And that realization that her time and peace are precious, that's confidence. Because when a woman learns that she doesn't have to prove herself, she becomes untouchable in the best way. Men, let me say this to you. If you ever meet a confident woman, don't mistake her independence for attitude. Don't take her silence as arrogance. Understand that she's just at peace with who she is. She's not trying to control you. She's mastered controlling herself. She doesn't need you to build her up. She's already built. What she needs is partnership, not possession. Respect that, and she'll give you loyalty like you've never seen. But if you can't handle her confidence, don't try to break her down. Step aside, because another man will see her light and know exactly what to do with it. Now, ladies, let me talk to you directly. You have to understand that confidence is not something you find outside yourself. Nobody can give it to you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your man. Confidence comes from recognizing that God didn't make you by mistake. He didn't give you your personality, your voice, your looks, your gifts by accident. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. And when you finally believe that, when you stop wishing you were somebody else, that's when life starts to shift. That's when you start walking differently, talking differently, choosing differently. That's when you stop chasing people and start chasing purpose. Confidence is the quiet understanding that you have value, even on your bad days, even when you fail, even when you don't feel beautiful, even when nobody claps. Confidence is the whisper that says, I'm still enough. And when you walk with that kind of confidence, you don't just change your relationships, you change your whole atmosphere. Because a confident woman doesn't just demand respect, she inspires it. You know why confidence is so powerful? Because it attracts peace. When you know who you are, you stop competing with other women. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You stop being jealous because you understand that what's for you will always be for you. You celebrate other women because you're secure in your lane. You don't need to dim your light to make someone else shine. You both can glow, and that's real power. When you can cheer for others without losing yourself. Every woman has that confidence inside her. It might be buried under years of doubt, heartbreak, or other people's opinions, but it's there. It's waiting for you to remember who you are. It's waiting for you to stop playing small. It's waiting for you to stop letting fear run your life. Because when you finally tap into it, when you finally realize your worth, you become the kind of woman who doesn't beg to be chosen. You choose yourself. And that choice changes everything. So, when a man meets the kind of woman, he feels it instantly. He knows he can't play the same games. He knows this isn't about ego or charm. It's about effort. Because a confident woman doesn't fall for words, she pays attention to actions. She doesn't need promises. She needs consistency. She's not looking for a man to complete her. She's looking for one who can walk beside her. And when a man realizes that, when he sees that her confidence comes from within, not from his attention, that's the moment he realizes she's not like other women. Because she's not chasing love. She is love. She's not seeking validation. She embodies value. She's not following the crowd. She's following her calling. And when you witness that kind of confidence, you understand why she can't be compared. You understand why her presence shifts a room. You understand why her energy feels like peace and power wrapped in grace. Because that's what confidence does. It makes her unforgettable. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about a real woman. A woman who knows herself, who's done the work, who's been through storms and still stands tall. She's not out here giving ultimatums, trying to control people or force things to happen her way. No, she's got something far greater than that. She's got standards. And that right there is the difference between a woman who's desperate for attention and a woman who demands respect without saying a word. See, an ultimatum says, do what I say or I'll leave. But a standard says, this is who I am, this is how I live, and if that doesn't align with you, that's okay. I'll still be fine. That's a whole different kind of power. Because standards aren't about controlling somebody else. They're about controlling yourself. They come from self, respect, from knowing your worth, from having a vision to life that doesn't bend every time someone else walks in or out of it. And when a woman reaches that point, when she knows what she stands for, that's when a man realizes she's not like the rest. Now let's be real. Setting standards doesn't come easy. It comes after you've learned some hard lessons. It comes after you've given too much, waited too long, and loved too deep for people who weren't ready for you. It comes from those moments when you stayed silent just to keep the peace, when you accepted half effort. Because you didn't want to lose someone, when you pretended you were okay just to keep a relationship alive that was already dying. You'll over time that love without respect is not love at all. Attention without consistency is just entertainment. and promises without action are just pretty lies wrapped in hope. That's when something inside you shifts. You stop begging, you stop explaining. You stop accepting crumbs when you know you deserve the whole loaf. That's when your standards are born, not from pride, but from pain that turned into wisdom. A woman with standards doesn't need to raise her voice. She doesn't need to threaten you with what she'll do if you don't act right. She just shows you what she allows and what she doesn't by how she lives. She doesn't tell you she values honesty. She simply walks away when she catches a lie. She doesn't beg you to prioritize her. She just stops being available when you treat her like an option. She doesn't tell you how to love her. She demonstrates how she loves herself. And if you can't match that energy, you won't last long around her. Because her standards are not negotiable. They are non-refundable. You see, an ultimatum is born from insecurity, but a standard is born from self-worth. When you know who you are, you don't have to force anyone to see your value. You just live in it. You don't need to scream to be heard. Your peace speaks louder than your pain. And that's what a confident woman understands. She doesn't have to lower her bar just because others refuse to rise to it. Let me talk to the fellas for a second. When you meet a woman with standards, don't confuse that with being difficult. Don't call her too much, just because she won't settle for too little. Understand that her standards are not there to challenge your ego. They're there to protect her peace. If she tells you she's not dealing with inconsistency, that's not a test. That's her truth. If she says she's not entertaining confusion, that's not attitude, that's alignment. A woman with standards doesn't want perfection, she wants effort. She wants clarity, she wants growth. She wants a man who means what he says and shows what he feels. That's it. But too many men get intimidated when they realize she's not impressed by potential anymore. She's focused on patterns. And see, that's the thing about standards. They're not about being picky. They're about being principled. It's not that she's hard to please. It's that she knows what peace costs, and she's not willing to lose it again. She knows what disrespect feels like, and she's not willing to go through that again. So she chooses better. She speaks up sooner. She listens to her intuition quicker. And she walks away faster because she's learned that silence and tolerance are expensive when they cost you your self-respect. There's beauty in that kind of strength because a woman with standards knows that boundaries don't push people away. They reveal who belongs. When she says no, it's not because she's stubborn, because she's serious. She's no longer bending her spirit just to keep someone comfortable. She's done carrying relationships that she didn't build alone. She's not trying to convince anyone to stay. She's too busy protecting her peace, because at this stage, her peace is her priority. Her energy is sacred. Her time is valuable. She's not just letting anyone have access anymore. Access to her is a privilege, not a right. And when a man realizes that, when he truly understands that she's not setting traps, but setting boundaries, that's the moment he knows she's not like other women, because she's not operating from fear of being alone. She's operating from faith that the right one will meet her where she stands. That's a whole different vibration. She's not trying to rush the process. She's not chasing, begging, or proving. She's resting in her standards, trusting that whoever is meant for her will respect them, not resent them. Now, I'll tell you something else. Standards attract clarity. When you know what you want, you stop wasting time on what you don't. You stop entertaining half-hearted connections. You stop confusing attention with affection. You stop settling for chemistry when there's no character. You stop calling red flags misunderstandings. You start listening to actions louder than words. Because standards make you see things for what they are, not for what you hope they'll become. And when a woman starts moving like that, when her vision gets that clear, her life starts aligning. Her energy changes. Her circle changes. Her peace deepens. And her love, when it comes, feels safe, steady, and true. Setting standards isn't about being better than anyone. It's about being better than who you used to be. It's about growth. Because when you've been through things that tested your worth, you start valuing it more. You stop letting people come and go as they please. You start requiring consistency, communication, and respect. You start saying, I don't care how much potential you have. If your effort doesn't match your words, I'm done. That's not bitterness. That's boundaries. And let me tell you something powerful. When a woman sets her standards, she teaches others how to treat her without ever saying a word. Her silence says more than her speeches ever could. Her absence becomes her answer. Her self-control becomes her strength. Because she's learned that reacting gives power away, but standards keep her centered. She's not here to argue with people who already know what they're doing wrong. She's not here to prove she's worth it. She knows she is a woman with standards because she's learned to love herself enough not to settle. That doesn't mean she's perfect. That doesn't mean she's never lonely. It just means she's committed to choosing herself every time life gives her the option to abandon herself for someone else's comfort. She's learned that peace tastes better than potential. She's learned that being alone is better than being disrespected. And she's learned that self-worth isn't about ego. It's about balance. It's about being soft enough to love and strong enough to walk away. And listen, sometimes when a woman raises her standards, people around her will get uncomfortable. They'll say, "You've changed." And she'll smile because that's the point. She's not the same woman who accepted excuses, confusion, and mixed signals. She's grown. She's evolved. She's not trying to be liked anymore. She's trying to be respected. She's not trying to keep everybody happy. She's trying to keep herself whole. Because she understands that every time she compromises her standards, she's telling the world she doesn't believe in her own worth. And she's done sending that message. Now here's the standards. Setting standards is not about being honest. It's about saying, I love you, but I love me more. It's about saying, care, but I can't carry this alone. It's about saying, I want peace, not chaos. It's about living in alignment with your values. Because when you live by your standards, you attract people who live by theirs. You start connecting with people who don't drain you, but pour into you. Who don't compete with you, but compliment you. Who don't question your worth, but confirm it through action. That's what real love feels like. It aligns with your standards, not your fears. So many people mistake setting standards for having an attitude. But there's no attitude in wanting to be respected. There's no arrogance in knowing your value. There's no ego in expecting effort. That's self-awareness. That's maturity. That's knowing that love should feel safe, not stressful. And when a woman truly embraces that, when she lives by her standards instead of lowering them, She becomes the kind of woman a man can grow with, not just go out with. Because a woman with standards doesn't just challenge a man to love her better, she inspires him to be better. And that's what separates her from the rest. She doesn't issue ultimatums because she's not trying to control outcomes. She just walks in her truth. She believes that what's meant for her won't require her to break herself to keep it. And when a man sees that kind of strength wrapped in grace, it humbles him. It makes him want to level up. It makes him realize that she's not asking for too much. She's just asking for the right things. And that realization, that moment when he sees her standards not as walls, but as windows into her worth, that's when he understands she's not like other women. Because she's not out here chasing love. She's setting the conditions where love can thrive. She's not begging for attention. She's waiting for intention. She's not punishing anyone. She's protecting herself. Her standards aren't weapons. They're boundaries made of self-respect. And when a woman moves like that, you can't help but notice. You can't help but respect it. Because she's not trying to be the loudest in the room. She's just the one who knows exactly what she deserves, and she's not afraid to wait for it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that every woman eventually learns, either through heartbreak, healing, or hard lessons. There comes a point when her peace becomes more precious than his attention. See, in the beginning, attention feels like love. It feels exciting, intoxicating, the calls, the texts, the compliments, the chase. All of it makes you feel seen, wanted, alive. But as time goes on, you start to realize that attention without intention is just noise. It's sweet at first, but it doesn't last. What lasts is peace. And once a woman tastes peace, she's not trading it for temporary attention ever again. Peace hits different. Peace is quiet but powerful. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It's that feeling you get when you're not overthinking who's texting you back. It's the freedom that comes when you're not begging anyone to stay. It's waking up in the morning knowing that your mood isn't dependent on someone else's behavior. That's peace, and it's priceless. And when a woman realizes that, when she finally understands that her peace is more valuable than any man's attention, she becomes untouchable in the best way. Because here's attention can be bought, but peace has to be earned. Anybody can give you attention. They can send a good morning, text, drop a heart emoji, or compliment you can picture. That's easy. But not everybody can bring you peace. Not everybody can give you consistency, stability, and safety. And that's where most women get stuck. Confusing attention with affection, mistaking communication for connection, thinking that noise equals love. But the older you get, the wiser you become to realize that peace is the new luxury. A woman who's been through heartbreak understands this on a deeper level because she's had attention before. She's had men who showed up when they wanted something, who said all the right things until they got comfortable, who loved her loudly one day and went silent the next. And for a while, she tried to hold on. She tried to make it work. She tried to remind them of her worth. But eventually, she got tired, not of love, but of chaos disguised as passion. She got tired of mistaking inconsistency for effort. She got tired of being anxious every time her phone buzzed, wondering if it was a message or another disappointment. And in that exhaustion, she found her awakening. She realized that peace is better than attention because peace doesn't disappear when somebody else does. Peace is what happens when you stop trying to prove your value to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. Peace is what happens when you stop chasing closure and start creating boundaries. Peace is what happens when you stop replaying what went wrong and start focusing on what you learned. That's growth. That's healing. That's power. When a woman starts valuing her peace, her entire energy changes. She stops arguing just to be heard. She stops explaining herself to people who only listen to respond. She stops showing up to every fight she's invited to. She starts choosing silence over shouting, solitude over stress, calm over confusion. And that calm, that quiet self-assurance, it scares people who were used to her chaos because they can't control a woman who's found peace. They can't guilt her, manipulate her, or pressure her anymore. She's too grounded now. She's learned that peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of perspective. And you can always tell when a woman has found her peace. She glows differently. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg, she lets go. She doesn't try to be understood by everyone because she understands herself. You won't see her online posting subliminal messages, trying to prove a point. She doesn't have time for drama. She's protecting her peace like it's her paycheck. And the more she does, the more she realizes how expensive it was to lose it in the first place, because chaos costs more than most people can afford. It drains your energy, your confidence, your joy, your sleep, your spirit. And once you learn that lesson, you don't let anybody come into your life and make withdrawals they can't afford to repay. When a man meets a woman like that, one who's truly centered, it shakes him because he's used to attention seekers, not peace keepers. He's used to women who need validation, not women who create their own calm. And when he realizes that her peace is sacred, that she'll walk away from anything that disturbs it, he sees that she's different. She's not playing games. She's not waiting for him to choose her. She's already chosen herself. And that's the thing. A peaceful woman is powerful because she's not reactive. You can't push her buttons the way you used to. She's learned the art of not engaging. She's mastered the pause. She's not ignoring you out of pride. She's protecting her energy out of wisdom because she knows that peace is not something you find, it's something you build. One boundary, one decision, one act of self-respect at a time. When a woman values her peace, she becomes intentional with her life. She starts filtering everything, conversations, company commitments, through one question: does this bring me peace or take it away? If it disrupts her peace, it doesn't belong. She's not afraid to say no. She's not afraid to be misunderstood. She's not afraid to walk alone for a season if it means walking in peace, because she knows that being alone in peace is better than being together in turmoil. There's a certain beauty in watching a woman reclaim her peace after losing it for so long. She starts sleeping better. She starts smiling for no reason. Her laughter comes back. Her mind quiets down. She starts enjoying her own company again. She starts realizing that peace was never outside of her. It was inside her all along. She just needed to stop giving other people the power to disturb it. That's when she becomes radiant. That's when her confidence blooms again. That's when she starts walking like she's whole, because she finally is. See, attention fades, but peace endures. A man can give you attention today and disappear tomorrow, but peace stays. It doesn't depend on who texts or who doesn't, who stays or who leaves. It's yours, and once you claim it, nobody can take it unless you hand it over That's the secret every strong woman learns. Your peace is your power. Guard it. Protect it. Don't negotiate it for temporary companionship. When you start living in peace, you also start seeing attention differently. You don't crave it the same way. You start recognizing that not all attention is good attention. Some people, attention just to keep you from moving on. Some give it because they like the control. Some because they don't want to see you happy without them. But peace makes you immune to that kind of manipulation. You start saying, if it costs me my calm, it's too expensive. And you mean it. Now, peace doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care differently. You care from a place of balance, not desperation. You love from fullness, not emptiness. You respond from wisdom, not emotion. Peace, you patience. It gives you perspective. It teaches you that not everything deserves your reaction. Not every insult deserves your energy. And not every person deserves access to your spirit. And when you're living in peace, you start realizing that love that disturbs your peace is not love. It's control. Real love feels calm, safe, consistent. Real love doesn't make you question your worth. It doesn't keep you guessing where you stand. Real love adds to your peace, not subtracts from it. And when you finally experience that, when you meet someone, energy doesn't drain you, but refuels you. You realize that's what you should have been waiting for all along. Sometimes the greatest love story a woman can have is the one she builds with herself when she chooses peace over drama. When she chooses rest over worry. When she chooses to let go instead of holding on to what hurts. When she looks around her life and says, I deserve better energy than this. That's self-love in its highest form, choosing calm even when chaos knocks. And it's not easy, because people will test your peace. They'll pull it at it, try to steal it. But when a woman has healed, when she's grounded, she knows how to protect it. She doesn't react, she redirects. She doesn't explode, she exhales. She doesn't take everything personally. She sees it for what it is. A reflection of them, not her. That's emotional maturity. That's the fruit of peace. Peace also changes how a woman shows up in relationships. She no longer rushes things. She lets them unfold. She no longer attaches to potential. She watches patterns. She no longer tolerates confusion. She seeks clarity. She's not looking for fireworks anymore. She's looking for consistency. She's not impressed by who makes her laugh. She's impressed by who makes her feel safe. Because she knows what it's like to lose herself in someone else's chaos, and she's never going back there again. When she says, my peace matters, it's not a line, it's a lifestyle. It means she's willing to walk away from anything that disturbs her spirit, no matter how good it looks. It means she's choosing her well, being over her ego, her mental health over her loneliness, her long-term joy over her short-term craving. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Because every time she chooses peace, she's choosing herself. And let me tell you, that kind of woman, the one who values her peace more than your attention, she's not cold. She's not distant. She's not heartless. She's healed. She's evolved. She's learned that chaos is not love, that noise is not passion, that games are not growth. She's learned that peace doesn't mean life is perfect. It just means she's no longer allowing anyone to disturb her inner calm. And when a man meets that woman, it changes him too, because her peace becomes contagious. Her calm teaches him patience. Her balance teaches him consistency. Her energy makes him want to be better, do better, and love better. Peace is a mirror. It reflects what's real and rejects what's not. It shows you who's aligned with you and who's not. It reveals which relationships are healthy and which are hollow. It helps you see that sometimes losing people is not a loss. It's protection. Because peace doesn't grow and exist with confusion. Peace doesn't grow in chaos. And once you understand that, you start pruning your life. You stop letting everyone have access. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop apologizing for protecting your space. Because you finally understand peace is not selfish. It's survival. So when you see that woman who's calm in the storm, who doesn't chase drama, who moves with quiet confidence, understand that she earned that peace. It cost her sleepless nights, tears, disappointment, and years of unlearning. It cost her the old version of herself that settled for noise because she was afraid of silence. But now that she has it, she's not letting it go. Because peace is her crown. Peace is her protection. Peace is her proof that she finally understands her worth. And that's the moment, the exact moment, when he realizes she's not like other women. Because she's not impressed by attention anymore. She's not swayed by sweet words or shallow gestures. She's steady, she's centered, and she's whole. She's not looking for someone to complete her. She's looking for someone whose presence doesn't disrupt her peace. And when he feels how powerful or calm is, he knows he's dealing with something rare. Because anybody can give you attention, but only a real one can give you peace. Let me tell you something. A real woman, a woman who knows her value, she has the heart of a supporter. She'll stand by your side when nobody else will. She'll believe in your dreams even when you don't. She'll pray for you, push you, encourage you, and pour into you. But what she won't do, not anymore, is settle for less than she deserves while doing it. Because there's a difference between supporting a man and shrinking herself to keep one. There is a difference between building with someone and carrying someone who won't build with you. She knows the difference now. A woman who supports, but doesn't settle is powerful because her love is not blind anymore. It's balanced. She can hold you down without losing her crown. She can believe in your vision without abandoning her own. She can be soft without being silent. She can be loyal without being a fool. Because she's learned that love should lift her too, not just weigh her down with responsibility and disappointment. See, for a long time, many women confuse loyalty with limitation. They think being a ride or die means enduring pain in the name of love. They think that supporting a man means staying no matter what. But a mature woman, she learns better. She learns that loyalty doesn't mean self-neglect. It doesn't mean accepting less and calling it love. She learns that she can cheer for her man and still chase her own dreams. She can nurture him without mothering him. She can believe in his potential. But she's not going to live off potential forever. Because potential without progress is just a promise that keeps getting postponed. When a woman loves the right way, she gives her best. She'll help him see possibilities he didn't see. She'll push him to reach higher. She'll remind him of who he is when the world tries to make him forget. But she also knows that her love shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't drain her spirit or dull her shine. She's not meant to lose herself in the process of loving someone else. She knows now that the same effort she gives deserves to be given back. Because partnership is about balance, not sacrifice on one side and comfort on the other. You can always tell the difference between a woman who supports and one who settles. The woman who supports still has her joy. She still has her goals. She still has her boundaries. She's pouring into him, but she's also filling herself. She's not giving from emptiness. She's giving from overflow. She knows that if she burns herself out keeping someone else warm, nobody wins. But the woman who settles, she's tired. You can see it in her eyes. She's carrying the weight of a relationship that only she's fighting for. She's defending someone's potential while ignoring the reality that he's not doing the same for her. And one day she wakes up and says, "Enough," because love without growth isn't love. It's survival. Supporting doesn't mean staying silent when things go wrong. It means standing for truth even when it's uncomfortable. It means holding someone accountable because you want to see them become their best self, not because you want to control them. A real woman supports by challenging her man to rise, not by tolerating his excuses. She knows the difference between patience and passivity. Patience says, "I see your effort, and I'll walk with you while you build." Passivity says, "I'll wait forever while you make promises you never keep." She's done with the second one. She's too wise for that now. There's a quiet strength in a woman who supports but doesn't settle. She's not loud. She's not trying to prove a point. She just moves differently. She invests her time where there's consistency. She gives her energy where there's effort. She matches actions, not words. She listens more than she explains, because she's realized that love doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be honest. And let me tell you something. A man feels it when he's with a woman like that, because she's not demanding he be perfect, but she does expect him to be present. She doesn't want everything, but she does want consistency. She doesn't need him to have all the answers, but she needs him to tell the truth. And when he sees that she's still cheering for him, but she's not waiting around for him to change, that's when it clicks. That's when he realizes he's got something rare, something worth growing up for. Because a woman who supports but doesn't settle, she'll build you up, but she won't beg you to grow. She's learned that settling comes from fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown. But peace, real peace, comes when you decide you'd rather be alone than misunderstood. You'd rather wait than waste time. You'd rather heal than hustle for someone's attention. That's the shift that changes everything. That's when she stops chasing potential and starts demanding partnership. Now, when a woman has that kind of self-respect, people start to notice. Some will say she's cold, that she's changed. But she hasn't changed. She's evolved. She's learned that love isn't proven by pain. It's proven by peace. She's learned that she can't fix a man who doesn't see a problem. She can't motivate someone who doesn't want to move. She can't be the only one praying, planning, and pushing while the other person is just coasting. She can still love him, but she's not going to lose herself for him. Because when she loves herself, her standard changes. She stops accepting half effort. She stops making excuses for red flags. She stops lowering her expectations just to keep somebody around. She supports, yes, but she supports from a place of strength, not scarcity. She knows that her love is powerful, but it's not a lifeline for someone who refuses to swim. She's not here to save anyone. She's here to share life with someone who wants to build, grow, and lead with her. There's something incredible about watching a woman support from strength. You'll see her clap for her man when he wins. You'll see her listen, comfort, encourage. She'll be his biggest fan, but she's also her own cheerleader. She's not disappearing into his dream. She's developing hers too. She's not just building a life around him. She's building a life with him. That's the kind of woman who multiplies everything she touches. But only a mature man can handle that kind of woman. Because her love will hold you accountable. It will stretch you. It will demand growth. It will make you look at yourself and ask, am I giving her what she's giving me? And if you can't handle that, she won't argue, she'll exit. Because she's not settling anymore. She's seen what that costs. The sleepless nights, the broken promises, the constant anxiety of wondering if she's enough. She's done with that. She knows now that settling steals her spirit. It drains her creativity. It dulls her shine. It makes her forget the power she has to create, to love, to build. She refuses to go back to that. She's choosing peace now. She's choosing balance. She's choosing love that reciprocates. When a woman supports but doesn't settle, she teaches everyone around her what respect looks like. She becomes the blueprint. She's the woman young girls watch and say, that's the kind of strength I want. She's the woman her friends go to for advice because she doesn't sugarcoat the truth. She'll tell you straight, stop waiting on potential. Stop calling dysfunction loyalty. Stop confusing patience with self-betrayal. Because she's lived it. She knows the cost of settling. And she's not paying that price again. And you know what's interesting? When she stops settling, her life gets lighter. Opportunities start showing up. Her energy attracts better people. She starts meeting those who see her worth without needing to be convinced. Because the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, it always rewards self-respect. When you stop lowering your standards, you make room for blessings that match your level. That's what happens when a woman refuses to settle. She aligns with her destiny. There's something magnetic about that kind of woman. She's calm, but commanding. She doesn't chase validation. She doesn't beg for closure. She doesn't threaten to leave. She just leaves when her spirit is no longer fed. And when she walks away, she doesn't do it with bitterness. She does it with gratitude for the lesson and peace for the journey ahead. Because she knows that love shouldn't cost her dignity. Love should build her, not break her. Men, let me tell you something. When you meet a woman like that, don't play with her. Don't mistake her kindness for weakness. Don't assume her support means she'll tolerate anything. She's giving you something sacred. Her faith in you, her time, her energy, her heart. Don't abuse that, because once she realizes that you mistake her loyalty for permission, she'll be gone. Quietly, gracefully, permanently. And when she's gone, you'll feel the difference. Because a woman that doesn't just love you, she elevates you. She adds to your peace, your purpose, your potential. But she won't stay where she's taken for granted. Supporting without settling also means she's honest with herself. She doesn't romanticize red flags anymore. She doesn't build castles in the sand. She looks at the reality, not the fantasy. She can love someone deeply and still say, this isn't good for me. That's strength. That's emotional maturity. That's what happens when you've healed enough to stop letting love blind you to the truth. Because at the end of the day, she'd rather be real than just be in a relationship that looks good on the outside, but feels wrong on the inside. She's whirling doesn't just happen in love. It happens in life. It's taking jobs that don't fulfill you because you're scared to try for better. It's keeping fraying you because you fear being alone. It's saying yes when your spirit screams no. So she's changed that too. She's raising her standards everywhere. Work, friendships, lifestyle, self-care. She's learning to support her own dreams the way she used to support everyone else's. She's learning to clap for herself, to invest in herself, to believe in herself again. Because the greatest support she can give anyone starts with how she supports herself. And when she lives like that, her energy becomes contagious. Her strength doesn't just inspire her man, it inspires her children, her community, her circle. People feel safer around her because she's solid. She's not perfect, but she's grounded. She's not bitter, but she's wise. She's not settling for average anymore. She's reaching for abundance. And that energy, that's what changes generations. So now, when a man looks at her, he sees the difference. He feels it. He knows this isn't a woman he can feed with promises. This is a woman who requires presence. This isn't a woman who needs saving. This is a woman who saves herself and still has the grace to lift others. And that's when he realizes she's not like the rest. Because she supports him, but she'll never settle for less than she deserves, less than she gives, less than she's worth. She knows that true love doesn't ask her to shrink, it invites her to shrink. And if it doesn't, she'll keep walking until she finds what does. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something powerful about a woman who moves with purpose. When she walks into a room, she doesn't need to announce who she is because her energy already did. You can feel it calm, confident, collected. She's not rushing. She's not proving. She's just being. That's purpose. See, pressure is when you move because of what people expect from you. But purpose is when you move because of what God placed inside you. And once a woman figures that out, once she stops living by other people's timelines and starts following her own assignment, that's when she becomes unstoppable. You can't shake a woman who's moving with purpose because she's not driven by fear anymore. She's not trying to compete with anyone, not trying to impress anyone, not even trying to convince anyone. She's already convinced that she's worthy, convinced that she's capable, convinced that her journey has meaning, even if other people don't understand it yet. When you move with purpose, you learn to be patient. You realize that slow progress is still progress. You understand that timing is everything, and your time will come. But when you move with pressure, you're always racing, always comparing, always chasing something that never feels enough. The world today tries to rush women. You're 25, when are you getting married? You're 30, when are you having kids? You're 35, when are you going to settle down? And she hears it all, and for a while, maybe she even believed it. Maybe she started to think something was wrong with her because she didn't fit the script. But then she realized, shh, she's not behind, she's not late. She's just on her own timeline. Purpose doesn't move by deadlines, it moves by design. And once she gets that revelation, pressure loses its power. She stops letting society write her story. She starts writing her own. Moving with purpose also means she doesn't jump at everything that glitters. She's not chasing attention because she knows attention fades. She's not chasing money just for status because she knows peace is the real luxury. She's not chasing love that costs her dignity because she knows she deserves love that feeds her soul. Purpose has taught her to discern, to know the difference between an opportunity and a distraction, between chemistry and connection. between being chosen and being used. That wisdom comes from time, from pain, from learning the hard way that everything that looks good isn't good for her. So now, when she moves wisely. When a woman moves with pressure, she's always asking, what if I fail? What will they think? What if I'm not enough? But when she moves with purpose, she says, even if I fail, I'll learn. Even if they doubt me, I'll still do it. Even if they leave, I'll still rise. Because purpose gives her power. It gives her something pressure can't touch. She stops being reactive and starts being intentional. Every step she takes, every decision she makes, it's grounded in vision. She's not hustling for approval anymore. She's building for alignment. Now, a man feels the difference too. When he meets a woman who moves with purpose, he can't manipulate her with pressure. He can't rush her into a situation she's not ready for. He can't dangle false promises to make her stay, because she doesn't operate on pressure. She operates on peace. She doesn't ask, what does he want from me? She asks, what is God trying to show me? And that's how she decides who to give her energy to, who to build with, who to walk away from. You see, purpose protects her. It's her filter, her compass, her inner GPS. It's the reason she can walk away from something that looks good on the outside, but doesn't feel right on the inside. Because she's learned to trust that peace is her signal. There was a time she used to move from panic. She said yes to things because she was scared to miss out. She accepted less because she thought waiting meant wasting time. She'd rush relationships, rush decisions, rush healing. But every time she rushed, she paid for it. Every time she moved from pressure, she lost a piece of herself. She learned to slow down, to breathe, to listen. Now, she's not afraid to pause. She's not afraid to say, not right now. She's not afraid to let something pass, because she knows what's meant for her won't miss her. That's what it means to move with purpose. You move by peace, not panic. And that kind of woman is magnetic. You can't help but respect her. She's grounded. She's focused. She's not perfect, but she's centered. You can't manipulate her with trends because she's not living for validation. You can't distract her with noise because she's tuned into her own frequency. She's learned that her pace is not too slow, it's sacred. Her path is not strange, it's strategic. She's not behind, she's being built. And when you see her winning, understand this. She didn't rush there, she grew there. Moving with purpose also changes how she carries herself. She doesn't speak to be heard, she speaks to bring value. She doesn't dress to get noticed, she dresses to express who she is. She doesn't post for likes, she posts with intention. Everything she does has meaning. Even her silence speaks. Because when you know who you are, you don't have to over-explain. You just live it. That's what makes her powerful. She's intentional in everything. Her words heal, her actions teach, her presence inspires. And let me tell you, when you live with purpose, you start competing with people and start connecting with them. She's not jealous of another woman's glow. She claps for her because she knows that her shine doesn't dim anyone else's. Purpose gives her security. She knows that what's for her can't be stolen and what's not for her won't last. So she moves with grace. No envy, no bitterness, no need to prove a point, just purpose. Pressure makes you frantic, but purpose makes you faithful. Pressure says, I have to make it happen right now. Purpose says, if it's mine, it will happen when it's meant to. Pressure makes you chase. Purpose makes you attract. Pressure has you swirling through other people's lives, wondering why yours doesn't look like theirs. Purpose has you thanking God for where you are, because you know He's still working on your story. That's the shift. That's the freedom. And that's why her energy feels different. When she walks away from something, she's not angry. She's grateful. When she loses something, she doesn't panic. She trusts. Because she knows that delay isn't denial, it's development. She's being refined, not rejected. Every no, every setback, every closed door. It's just redirection. Purpose taught her that everything has meaning. Even the mistakes, especially the mistakes, because those are the moments that gave her wisdom, patience, and strength. She used to live for milestones, engagement, marab, house, kids. She thought that's what success looked like. But now she defines success differently. Success to her is peace of mind. Success is waking up happy. Success is walking in integrity. Success is being able to say, I like who I am becoming. And that's what moving with purpose gives you. It gives you peace, not performance. It gives you fulfillment, not frustration. It gives you alignment, not anxiety. And when she moves like that, everything she touches flourishes. Her relationships become healthier because they're built on honesty, not insecurity. Her career grows because she's doing what aligns with her calling, not just what pays the bills. Her spirit shines because she's not trying to carry every burden alone. She's learned that she doesn't have to force what flows naturally. She's learned that rest is productive too. She's learned that it's okay to slow down and still be moving forward. Purpose also changes her standards. She doesn't settle for half effort because she's fully invested in herself. She doesn't chase people who confuse her because clarity is her new currency. She doesn't waste time explaining her worth because the right people will already see it. She doesn't overcommit because she's learned that every yes costs energy, and she protects that now. She's intentional with her time, her love, her peace, and that's what makes her stand out. She's not just busy, she's effective. Now, a lot of folks mistake her peace for pride. They think she's distant, but really, she's disciplined. They think she's quiet, but she's just focused. They think she's lucky, but they don't know how many times she cried, prayed, and kept going when nobody saw. Purpose built her differently. It taught her that everything great takes time. Healing, success, love, confidence. Nothing lasting comes from rushing. So she moves slow, steady, sure. Because she's not chasing moments, she's building momentum. You see, when pressure leads, you compromise, you settle. You accept things that don't serve you because you're scared of missing out. But when purpose leads, you trust, you believe. You understand that saying no to something good makes room for something great. You realize that your life is not a race, it's a rhythm. And once you find that rhythm, everything starts to flow. The woman who moves with purpose knows that she's not for everybody. Her energy won't fit everywhere. Her spirit won't connect with everyone. And that's okay. She's learned to stop shrinking just to be accepted. She's learned to stop pretending just to be liked. She's learned to stop rushing just to fit in. She's done chasing validation that doesn't feed her soul, because her worth doesn't come from the crowd, it comes from her creator. And the beauty of it all is this: when she moves with purpose, she inspires others to do the same. People watch her and start to slow down too. They start to trust their own timing. They start to realize that they don't have to force anything either. That's how powerful she is. Her calm becomes contagious. Her patience becomes inspiring. Her peace becomes an example. She's living proof that when you move with purpose, you don't chase, you attract. You don't stress. You don't rush. You rise. And that's what separates her from the rest. Pressure makes people panic, but purpose makes them powerful. Pressure breaks you down, but purpose builds you up. Pressure makes you desperate, but purpose makes you disciplined. And that's her. Disciplined, focused, graceful. She doesn't already complete because she's already complete. She doesn't need to rush because she's rooted. She doesn't need to beg because she's blessed. So now, every time she moves, whether it's walking away from what doesn't serve her or walking toward what does, she's intentional. Every step, every choice, every yes, every no, it's guided by purpose, not pressure. Because she finally understands something most people never learn: the right things don't have to be forced. The right people don't make you beg. The right opportunities don't create chaos. They bring peace. And that's how she knows she's on the right path. She moves differently now, not because she's changed, but because she's awakened. She's no longer rushing to prove her worth. She's resting in it. She's no longer driven by fear. She's fueled by faith. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what it means when we say she moves with purpose, not pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a certain moment that every real man experiences at least once in his life. A moment that humbles him, quiets him, even scares him a little. It's the moment he looks at a woman, not just looks at her, but really sees her, and something in him shifts. That's when he realizes she's not like the rest. She's not another name in his phone, not another pretty face, not another temporary distraction. She's something different. She carries something he can't quite describe, but he knows it's where. And for the first time in a long time, he starts thinking, "Man, I can't play with this one." That moment doesn't happen when she's trying to impress him. It doesn't happen when she's being loud or demanding attention. It happens when she's being herself. Calm, confident, peaceful, radiant. It happens when he notices that she doesn't move like everyone else. She's not chasing validation. She's not begging for affection. She's not competing for space. She's standing in her own lane, solid, sure, secure. And that's when he realizes she's built different. You see, most men are used to patterns. They're used to a certain kind of energy. The kind that needs, the kind that pleads, the kind that proves. But this woman, she doesn't need him to validate her existence. She knows who she is with or without him. She's not sitting around, waiting for him to figure out her worth. She already knows it. And when a man encounters that kind of woman, it shakes him. Because he can't use the same game. He can't run the same lines. He can't manipulate what's already whole. That's when the respect kicks in. It might not happen immediately, but something inside him starts to rise. A sense of responsibility, a desire to be better, to show up differently. Because now he's standing in front of a woman who demands excellence without saying a word. She's not asking for more. Her presence makes him want to give more. She's not preaching about loyalty. Her character makes it clear that she won't accept anything less. And that realization, that's heavy. That's powerful. That's the moment he realizes he's either got to step up or step aside. What makes her different is not just what she gives. It's what she refuses to give. She won't give her peace to chaos. She won't give her loyalty to inconsistency. She won't give her energy to confusion. And when a man feels that boundary, when he realizes she can love him deeply, but still walk away if she has to, that's when it hits him. She's not afraid of losing him because she's already found herself. That kind of power doesn't come from ego, it comes from evolution. She's grown, she's healed, she's learned, and now she's selective. A man might have had women before, women who were beautiful, smart, kind, but this one stands out because of her peace. You can't fake peace. You can't dress it up. You can't pretend it. You can't buy it. It's something you either have or you don't. And when he sits across from her, when he hears her speak, when he feels that calm in her presence, he knows he's in front of someone whose peace didn't come easy. She earned it. She fought for it. She prayed for it. And that makes her priceless. He starts to notice the little things. The way she listens, not to respond, but to understand. The way she doesn't rush to argue. She just pauses, processes, and replies with wisdom instead of wrath. The way she gives love freely but not foolishly. The way she can be gentle without being weak, strong without being harsh. She carries balance, and that balance is magnetic. He finds himself thinking about her, even when she's not around, not because of what she said, but because of how she made him feel. Safe, seen, inspired, and that's when confusion turns into clarity. He realizes this isn't a woman he can approach with half effort. This isn't someone he can ghost and come back to when it's convenient. This isn't a woman who's impressed by potential. She's watching your patterns. She's reading your energy. She's measuring consistency. And when he realizes that something inside him changes, he starts showing up differently. Not because she asked him to, but because he wants to be worthy of the peace she brings. See, a woman light that doesn't have to beg for attention. Her absence does the talking. When she pulls back, you feel it. The silence speaks louder than any argument could. Because she's not playing games. She's protecting her spirit. And that's what makes her unforgettable. Once you experience that kind of woman, every superficial connection afterward feels empty. Because now you've seen what real looks like. You've felt what genuine feels like. You've touched grace, and it marks you. You can't go back to average after that. That's why some men get scared when they meet her. They'll admire her, they'll praise her, but deep down they know they're not ready. Because a woman like that requires a healed man. She requires emotional intelligence, communication, consistency, accountability. She requires maturity, and that intimidates men who still operate from ego. But the ones who are ready, they rise, they evolve, they meet her energy, because she doesn't need saving, she needs partnership. And the man who realizes that is the one who wins her heart. When he finally gets it, when it truly sinks in that she's not like the rest, he starts reflecting. He starts asking himself questions he's never asked before. Can I ready for a woman like this? Can I match what she gives? Can I offer her safety, not just attraction? Because now he knows that to keep her, he can't just to entertain her. He has to elevate her. He has to make her feel chosen, not chased. He has to make her feel protected, not possessed. He has to create peace, not pressure. He realizes that this woman doesn't just want love. She wants leadership, not control, but direction. She wants a man who can guide, not dictate. Someone who can provide safety emotionally, not just financially. She wants someone who knows how to pray with her, not just play with her. And that understanding forces him to look at himself differently. Because When a woman like that enters your life, she exposes your potential and your insecurities at the same time. She makes you see the parts of you that need growth. She calls out the king in you, not by demanding it, but by being the kind of queen who deserves it. He begins to appreciate her strength in ways he never noticed before. How she's soft but strategic. How she gives without losing. How she forgives without forgetting the lesson. How she loves with wisdom, not naivety. He realizes she's not carrying the bitterness of her past. She's carrying the lessons from it. And that's what makes her glow differently. Her scars didn't break her, they built her. Her tears didn't weaken her, they watered her growth. And when a man witnesses that kind of resilience up close, he can't help but respect it. Sometimes it takes losing her for the lesson to hit hard. A man will think she's always going to be there. He'll take her effort for granted, ignore her patience, misunderstand her silence, until one day she's gone. No drama, no warning, no revenge, just gone. And then the realization hits harder than a heartbreak. She wasn't asking for too much, he was giving too little. And now he's comparing every woman that comes after her, trying to find that same mix of peace, strength, and love, because she's one of one. The truth is, she's not like other women because she's done the work most people avoid. She's sat in her pain. She's healed her wounds. She's faced her fears. She's learned to be alone and still be fulfilled. That's why she doesn't cling. That's why she doesn't settle. That's why she doesn't chase closure. Her peace isn't negotiable. Her joy isn't up for sale. Her standards aren't up for debate. And when he realizes that, he either rises to meet her level or fades into her past. There's no middle ground. He also realizes that her value isn't just in how she loves him. It's in how she loves. The way she treats people, the way she honors herself, the way she moves through life with faith and focus. She's not driven by clout. She's driven by calling. She's not trying to be liked. She's trying to make an impact. She's not chasing the spotlight. She is the light. And that's what keeps him thinking. Because he knows she'd be fine without him. But he's not sure he'd be fine without her. He notices how she brings balance wherever she goes. She can walk into chaos and bring calm. She can walk into doubt and bring belief. She can walk into darkness and bring light. She's not perfect, but she's purposeful. She's not flawless, but she's faithful. She's not above anyone, but she's aware of who she is. And when a man sees that kind of awareness, that kind of inner glow, he realizes he's not dealing with potential anymore. He's dealing with purpose. He starts to remember the moments when she supported him, even when he didn't deserve it. When she prayed for him behind his back. When she spoke life into him when life was beating him down. When she loved him even when he was unlovable. And then he realizes this woman wasn't in his life by accident. She was a blessing disguised as a challenge, a mirror showing him what he could be if he chose to grow. That's the moment maturity meets awareness. That's the moment the boy in him starts dying and the man in him starts living. It's also the moment he realizes that her boundaries aren't walls. They're wisdom. She's not cold. She's careful. She's not distant. She's discerning. She's not arrogant. She's aware. And that awareness makes her attractive on a whole different level. It's not just her beauty that draws him. It's her discipline, her depth, her dignity. She's not loud, but her silence has authority. She's not trying to prove anything because she is the proof. When he finally understands all that, He looks back at every moment he underestimated her and feels the weight of it. He realizes she wasn't being too much. He was just giving too little. She wasn't hard to love. He just didn't know how to love deeply. She wasn't intimidating. He was just unprepared. And that realization humbles him. It makes him want to be better. Because once you've seen what rare looks like, you can't unsee it. Once you've been loved with depth, surface love doesn't satisfy anymore. So he starts showing up. He starts communicating. He starts taking accountability. He starts healing too. Because now he understands that a woman like her doesn't come around twice. She's the kind of woman who changes how you see love, how you see yourself, how you see life. She's not like other women because she doesn't settle for average. She doesn't entertain chaos, and she doesn't live by fear. She's driven by peace, by purpose, by faith. She's proof that feminine strength isn't loud. It's lasting. And when that realization sinks deep, when he truly knows what he's found, he protects her differently. He speaks to her differently. He loves her differently. Because now he knows in his heart that he's standing in front of something sacred. And that's the moment, ladies and gentlemen, when he finally understands she's not like the rest, and she never will be.